Is the current state of Overwatch the best it's ever been? What's up, everybody? Welcome to Overtime, the series where each episode I dig into a specific topic or question relating to Overwatch. Today's video is actually a bit of a special one, in that I was prompted to make it after watching Seagull's recent video. Seagull is a renowned influencer within the Overwatch community who has on more than a few occasions critiqued Blizzard and their handling of the franchise. But in his latest video, he discussed how when it comes to balance and hero viability, Overwatch is currently in its best state ever. So in this video, I want to explore my own thoughts on the current state of Overwatch and discuss why it both is and isn't the best time in the game's life. This is Master Ian Gamer. Be sure to subscribe and hit up the bell icon if you enjoy this video, and now let's jump right on in. To start, let's talk about hero balance. This topic on its own has perhaps been the single most discussed and debated aspect of Overwatch over the 4+ years of the game's existence. It's a messy topic which I personally have largely avoided talking about whenever possible, mainly due to how divisive it always ends up being. The problem with talking balance is that it is massively subjective, which is actually quite ironic. True balance, of course, wouldn't be subjective, but true balance is impossible in an asymmetric game like Overwatch. So instead, everyone is left to fight over their own ideas of balance and how they relate to each other. The person who plays only tank heroes is likely to have a much different opinion on what a balanced Overwatch would look like compared to someone who only plays damage heroes. And even then, two tank players are likely to have different ideas from each other based on which exact heroes they like to play, which game modes they spend the most time in, along with any number of other factors. Basically, no matter what decisions Blizzard makes when it comes to balancing the game, they will inevitably end up pleasing some people and annoying others. But that being said, how is the balance in Overwatch currently? Well, I think it's great. But that really isn't saying much, given that I firmly believe Overwatch's balance has been great for like 90% of the game's life. As a low-diamond casual who almost exclusively plays quick play, I've rarely found any given meta to be nearly as omnipresent as the community at large always claims it to be. With only a few exceptions here and there when certain heroes or team comps were legitimately broken, I think every hero has been at least somewhat viable for the vast majority of Overwatch's existence. So yes, I think Overwatch is currently very well balanced. Is it more balanced now than it was a month ago? 6 months ago? A year ago? Maybe. But honestly, I think the degree to which it's become more balanced is so minuscule that it isn't even really notable. So then, why are we seeing major Overwatch influencers and streamers praising the game for its current state? Seagull is far from the only high-skill player to have commented on this recently, so what's up with that? Well, once again, I think it comes back to the idea of subjective game balance. And I don't think it's any coincidence that we're seeing high-skilled, top-of-the-competitive ladder players collectively enjoying the current state of the game right now. Players in this camp largely share a view of the game and its balance due to their homogeneous skill levels and experience playing Overwatch. So, with the current state of the game evidently appealing to players in this camp, it makes sense that we're seeing the community at large believe it to be good. You see, given that these high-level players more than often end up having the most influential voice in the community, we get a sort of trickle-down effect where them believing and stating that Overwatch is in a great state convinces others who aren't necessarily in that same skill tier that this is in fact the case. This then leads to players who don't really understand why high-skill players believe the game is good to think the same. Because, let's be honest, at the end of the day, a large portion of the Overwatch player base kinda just bases their opinion of the game off of what other people say, rather than their own experiences with it. That's just how things work, and it's by no means unique to Overwatch and its community. But I'm not complaining about everyone loving Overwatch's balance. As I said, I think the game has always been far more balanced than people give it credit for. And that doesn't mean that it's perfectly balanced, but just that it's balanced enough to be fun, which, at least in my opinion, is what really matters most. However, what about the state of Overwatch outside of just hero balance? What about the other aspects which make a game good? What about content? Like hero balance, content is a bit subjective in that not everybody cares about the same kinds of content. Some people love events and the new skins they introduce, others only care about new heroes and maps. Again, either perspective is fine, but how is the game doing in terms of content these days? Yeah, let's start with the more optimistic side of content. Overwatch currently has more content in it now than ever before, and especially if you count events and cosmetic items as content, which for the record I personally do, then the game has a plethora of content for players to consume and enjoy. It's got 32 unique heroes, which is 11 more than what the game had when it first launched back in 2016, and tons of different game modes to satisfy however you enjoy playing the game. So yes, in terms of the amount of content in-game, Overwatch 100% is currently in the best state ever. But what about new content releases? This is where Overwatch most definitely falls short in this day and age. The last new hero was Echo, who released back in April, and the last hero before her was Sigma way back in August of 2019. The last new map was Havana, which released all the way back in May of 2019. So yeah, there hasn't been a ton of new big content releases lately. But to be fair, we have still been getting event content, so if you're like me and care about skins and other cosmetic items, then Overwatch hasn't been completely dry. Heck, we've even been getting some nice event game mode twists over the past year, which has honestly been a great addition. But even so, you cannot deny that the hype and excitement surrounding Overwatch is lesser now than it was at just about any point in the past. Events are great, but they aren't what makes Overwatch great. That would be its heroes, and without new ones being added, the game is, at least on a community hype level, suffering. While Blizzard won't ever tell us the number of concurrent players Overwatch has, it's pretty easy to tell that interest in the game is currently quite low, potentially even the lowest it's ever been. Queue times are on the rise, while matchmaking quality is suffering. The official Overwatch forums and subreddit are relatively inactive compared to previous years, and content creators, myself included, are seeing dwindling interest in the game through our views and audience engagement. I'm not saying the game is dead by any means, as it's still very far from that point, but it's certainly slowed. Of course, the content drought is the result of Blizzard focusing their efforts on finishing Overwatch 2, and hopefully the release of the sequel will usher in a new golden age for the franchise, possibly even pushing it to reach levels of hype unseen at any point throughout Overwatch's lifetime so far. But when it comes to interest in Overwatch at this moment in time, it's unfortunately pretty low. In fact, when looking at the Google Trends result for the term Overwatch, we can see pretty blatantly that the game is at an all-time low in terms of interest. I mean, if you ask me, this puts a pretty big dent in any argument that Overwatch is currently the best it's ever been. However, that doesn't mean that Overwatch right now isn't still great. If you were to take a snapshot of the game itself right now and compare it with snapshots of the game from any previous point, I'd say that it's currently as good, if not better, than it's ever been before. But the meta aspect of people's interest in the franchise is what keeps me from personally saying that it is definitively in its best state ever. I'm sure Seagull and many others from across all playstyles and skill levels are genuinely enjoying the game right now. I mean, I know I am. As much as I'm craving a new hero or map for the game, I still enjoy playing it as much now as I ever have, really. So as long as you still enjoy playing the game, then I don't think it really matters what state the game is in, just so long as you're getting something good out of it and haven't burnt out yet. But these have been my rambly thoughts for today, and it looks like Overtime's about up. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit up that bell icon, and follow me on Twitter if you enjoyed this video and don't want to miss any of my future Overwatch content. Special thanks to my YouTube channel members who help make these videos possible, and if you'd like to join them to earn some cool rewards, then just hit that join button down below. Today's comment question: do you think Overwatch is currently in its best state ever? Let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, this is Master Ian Gamer signing off, and until next time, have a great day.